I'm Matt with eTrailer. If you have a 2024 Ram 1500 and you're trying to get through some areas where you just need a little bit more traction, or you live in a state that requires you to have tire chains, then the Glacier Chain Roller Link tire chains are going to be a great option for you. Now these chains are going to fit tire size 2, 65, 70, R17. Now they will fit a multitude of other sizes. That's just the size we have today. We're also going to have this on a rear axle as what the manual recommends. Now, if you're not sure if this is going to fit your vehicle, I recommend plugging your vehicle's information into our fit guide to find what's going to be the right fit for you. So let's check it out. As far as roller link chains go, these are actually pretty bulky. They're pretty large, and there are some benefits to having a roller link style chain, and that's going to be mainly because they're going to give you a smoother ride overall. Since they don't have any hard edges to them, they roll, that's what's going to give you that smooth ride. Something else that's going to contribute to that smooth ride and what makes this a great fit for this vehicle is these are actually going to be Class S chains. Class S chains aren't very large, and they're going to have plenty of space to sit beneath your suspension, which is really important for what we have today since we don't have a whole lot of clearance behind our tire. And these are also going to be made from a low carbon steel. Low carbon steel is a softer metal, but with that softer metal, it's going to give you a better ride overall as well. Now we're also going to have this ladder pattern design, and with that ladder pattern, that's going to give you more traction when you're stopping and starting. And we're also going to have this lever on the front of it, which is going to help getting a lot of this tension out from our chains, which is really important for especially chains like these roller links that use these blocks to tighten itself down. Now, I still recommend using a rubber tensioner. We have these on our website. If you don't already have one, I'd recommend investing in one, especially if you're looking at these chains for this vehicle, because we don't have a whole lot of clearance back there. And what can happen is while you drive on the road, things can shift. And once they shift, a lot of times they're going to loosen up some. So if these loosen up a little bit too much, they can make contact with anything back there. That's why a rubber tensioner is great, because it's going to constantly apply pressure to your chains. These chains are going to come in a set of 2 in this pretty light duty bag. That's okay, they are pretty light duty chains, so they really shouldn't tear through it. Now the biggest thing to think about with this type of bag is trying to get your chains back in here, because a lot of times if you're driving on the road and you are picking up that snow, rock, ice, they're going to be pretty much a mess to handle, and trying to get them back inside this bag is going to be pretty difficult. So what I'd recommend doing is just investing in a small tote to keep your chains in. In my opinion, I think these are a great set of chains if you're just trying to stay legal in your state. Now, if you actually have to use these for a time or two, I'd actually recommend a different set of chains. I'd recommend the Titan chain roller link chains that actually have a rubber tensioner that comes with them, because what's really nice about that is a couple things. The first thing is you don't have to get underneath your vehicle. You can put them on from the front side. And then the second thing is it's going to come with a rubber tensioner, so you don't even have to invest in one yourself. And you don't have to worry about them loosening up and making contact with anything behind your tire. But as for the install, it's really not too terribly difficult, especially on a taller vehicle like this. So getting under your vehicle might not be that big of a deal for you. Now, if you are curious to see what that process looks like, just stay tuned. We'll walk you through it. The beginner installation, I'll recommend laying out all your chains and grabbing some gloves, because they're just going to make it a bit easier. And if you are doing this for the first time, I recommend staying home, trying this out, because you don't want to try to figure this out on the side of the road in the middle of a blizzard. So what we're looking for with these chains is to make sure they're in the right orientation and there's no damages to them. So my links are looking pretty good, and we want to make sure that these hooks are facing up so they don't make contact with your tire. You also want to check the other end, because we're going to have this lever right here. We want to make sure that's facing on the outside. Once we've established that, we can start putting them on our tire. So the best way I find is just kind of grab them from the center, lift up on them, and just kind of drape them over. Once you got them draped over, we can start kind of situating things how they need to sit. So right here, for example, we want to make sure that's not sitting too low. We want to push that up until it's kind of centered on our tire. Once we've done that, I'm just going to really make sure the bottom's going to be easy to access. And speaking of those connections, we're going to grab the side that has those metal blocks, and then the side that has that channel. We're going to feed the metal sided blocks through that channel. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure you don't do it too tight, because if we're too tight on one side, we're going to get an uneven fit. So this might take you a few attempts, but once you have it through, then we can repeat that process on the other side. Now there will be one difference on the side, and that is after when you get these blocks through, we're going to have this lever too, and that's going to assist us with getting some additional tension. So something to keep in mind too is sometimes if you get this too tight, it will be really hard to wrap around this cable. So if you have that issue, just kind of go down one tightness. I think I'll get that wrapped around there. There you go, just like that. And if you have a lot of excess that's going past this lever, whereas you're going to have these red hooks that you can tie off to so it's not dangling around as you drive. From this point, I just like to pull on them, making sure I got a good fit. And this is pretty good right now, but I think we can get a little bit of a better fit. And that's why I'm going to grab a rubber tensioner. If you don't have one, you can find one on our website. I'm just going to put this in place. The best way I find to do this is to put it on in a star pattern. And we want to make sure those hooks are facing out and away from your tires, just so we don't puncture anything. After when you have this on completely, make sure it's pretty even throughout. So if you have one that's, let's say like this, I'd recommend just adjusting that a bit, just so you have a better fit. But afterwards, just kind of come by, give it a good tug, make sure it feels good. And if it does, then you repeat this process on the other side. After which, either back up or pull forward some to make sure nothing's shifting too much, if everything still looks good. And if it does, you can take it out for a ride. But that was just a look at the installation and some of the features of the Glacier Chain tire chains on the back of our 2024 Ram 1500. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.